welcome back. I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible, and we're gonna start by discussing January. I'm gonna share with you our biggest wins, our biggest losses, and our biggest regrets, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit about the future. This month has been characterized by essentially one trade. One overarching trade is long stocks. Coming into this month, coming into the new year, we've been calling for the most obvious and the most profitable trade will be long stocks. Now, and there's a question: which stocks do you buy? How do you buy them? How do you construct your portfolio overall? But this was the trade. Anything else was essentially mute, and the most of our money that we made was made by accurately picking stocks that we liked. And let's talk. The other thing in currency, our call was for dollar longs, and it was clear that we're going to reprice. It was clear even at the beginning of this month that we have gone a little bit over our heads with pricing of the rate cuts. And there's a high probability that we're just going to get a mean reversion in this move, and the dollar will likely retest 104 before going lower, if that is we're going lower on the dollar. You can go back and rewatch our previous videos, and you will clearly indicate that there's a high probability that the dollar is going back to 104, and then this is in March. This is going to be a very important signal, in terms of what the dollar is going to be positive on a tail basis or negative on a tail basis. We don't believe that the dollar continues just marching straight up from here. No, there's going to be a consolidationary. And generally in currencies, there isn't much to do. It's not going to be a very exciting little while for currencies. So, long stocks, essentially. Our biggest trades, our biggest wins, let's start with the biggest wins, is AI stocks, long AI related equities. Nvidia, obviously Nvidia, we initiated our position on Friday, January 5th, and on this breakout we added to our positions. Our main position was 540, 550 March call spread and spot. We bought a lot of spot on Nvidia, especially on the breakout right here, and closed most of our positions already. This made us a lot of money. The other thing worth mentioning is TSM. We've called for this move higher in TSM. We didn't know, obviously, the extent of the move higher, but on the day before earnings, it was quite clear that the asymmetry and the flow and the setup just pointed to the upside, and the asymmetry was incredibly positive if you were to take a longs on TSM. We played TSM directly through options, and we actually took a loss on it. But one thing we made money on is ASML. ASML as essentially same sector, same factor style, it moves by the same rules, abides by the same rules, moves with the same catalyst. And when TSM came out and essentially confirmed the cyclical pickup in semi space, obviously ASML reacted on this day. Huge, big gap up, big move higher, even though earnings came in a couple of days after that. But the initial move in an initial direction was absolutely spot on, perfect, crystal clear on that day when TSM reported. And before TSM reported, we went long ASML. You can find that in the group chat, and you'll see that we captured a lot of this movement higher, and this was quite profitable. One of the best trades that we took this month. Next thing is MRVL. The other thing is long calls on essentially also January the 5th. We bought calls on MRVL, closed all of them already. Marvel. The other thing, what was the other thing? I keep forgetting. Let me look at the board behind me. Oh yeah, CMCI. This was the biggest disappointment of this month, because we were quite prepared to get significantly long CMSCI, and we actually did so. How our process works, we didn't take any big losses this month. We usually don't take huge losses. We take a lot of small losses because we try to initiate position, and get out if it's not being confirmed by the market at that point. And we're taking a lot of these kind of small losses and close them quickly. And this was a loss on CMSCI that day. In the second half of that day, we entered into the 400 and 410 call spreads and bought spot on that day, and by the end of the day we essentially closed it. We took maybe 1.5% loss on it, which wasn't catastrophic at all. This was a very small loss, but we've been observing it, and completely ready to initiate this from this key level into the cyclical upswing in semis once again. And CMCI is in the heart of the AI revolution, of the AI wave, and it was quite clear that the earnings should come in pretty good, and they did. They surprised everybody. But unfortunately, on that day, I was sitting and contemplating whether to open the position or to wait another day maybe, and I opted to wait another day, and there wasn't another day. Essentially, it went up 25-30% on that day, and yeah, that absolutely decimated me. This is our biggest regret. I should have opened it longs on that day. I just had a couple of doubts as to the timing once again, but yeah, it is what it is. This could have been the biggest winner of this month and probably of the year, because the way we wanted to structure this trade. So AI longs worked pretty great for us. Lilly and VO worked pretty great for us. Lilly still has upcoming earnings, and we believe Lilly is going to beat again. And Lilly overall is, what can you say about Lilly? Should be pretty good. We hope the earnings are not going to disappoint, and hope that Lilly will do something like NVO did right here. Now, our only hope is Lilly doesn't get too overextended before the next Tuesday. That's one of the biggest winners, RTX. The other one, we played this perfectly into the mean reversion trade into the upside. MSCI as well, beautiful thing. The thesis you can find in a group as well, but this is the moneymaker for us, has been moneymaker for us. The other thing is, oh yeah, how can I forget? Tesla short. It's just a complete monster. At the beginning of the month, we took longs on it actually. Give me that. We initiated a small long right here, like this, with the exception that maybe, just maybe, yeah, we were completely bearish on the fundamental side, but knowing what the SPX was going to do, and the SPX was ripping in that time period, and our expectation that SPX will continue to completely rip into this month, which it essentially did, and knowing how Tesla, even though it has absolutely no fundamental backdrop behind it, but the flow and the correlation to the beta and how Tesla moves completely out of nowhere like this, just because beta does so, just made me open Tesla long right here. And well, we closed it into a loss. Once again, a very small loss. We closed it and flipped right here when the flow changed incredibly negative. The signal was very potent right here. This was essentially the trade, like this, into the 210. We opened 1 week out, 215, 210 put spread, closed it. Well, this was a 1 to 10 trade, successful trade. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous trade to start off the year. The next one is earnings. Short into the earnings. We've been holding 195 put spreads for February 16th, a lot of them, and we, before the earnings, on the day before the earnings, we added another 1 week out, not 1 week out, 3 days out on that day, 195 100 put spread, and well, we banked pretty nice buck on Tesla, let's say. completely capturing this, I would say, mean reversionary trades on a tail basis. And Tesla has a lot of ways to go to the downside. 150 easy, maybe 100, maybe $100. I'm pretty sure Tesla is going to reach 150 by the end of this quarter. But what is going to reach 100, it completely depends on what the beta is going to do. We don't see beta doing very badly, so I don't believe Tesla is going to go too far down. But most of the move has already happened. In the short term, we shall see whether there will be a continuation on the trending basis. And CRWD, CrowdStrike, long cybersecurity, another theme, big theme, and we captured this low essentially and rode it to the upside. A lot of small plays like UTI, like IGIC, also has been quite successful, but well, these were the biggest winners for us. And once again, we didn't have much losses, just very, very small high-frequency losses, but they are inevitable, essentially. One relatively nice loss that we took is on LMT. We paired it up with RTX, and well, let's say we lost $100 on LMT and we made $300 on RTX, so it's wasn't a big deal, but well, it is what it is. I didn't actually wanted to open LMT the day I made the decision to open RTX, but that was the decision. I wanted to rebalance, and I wanted to hedge. Well, mostly rebalance the exposure. But history has shown that you're better off not rebalancing and just playing the exposure that you want to play. JD, I've been calling for longs on this guy, but we didn't enter this. We entered RTX and LMT. I should have played RTX and JD, but that's fine. So this was the year. We closed this year plus 13.5%. Okay, could have been much better. Could have been much better. We could have closed at plus 30%, but that's the reality of it. It is okay. Let's just go through. Oh, oil. Man, I want to open oil longs. Please, I need oil longs. I want to short put some Exxon. Yeah. Let's talk about the future for a second. What future am I talking about? The next 1 to 3 months is we've had a FOMC meeting yesterday, and once again, the trend, as I've been pointing out, the trending direction for rates, for dollar, for gold is already, for equities as well, is already set in stone. FOMC meetings mean nothing, essentially. Not much to be expected from them. They will impact equities, especially equities. They will impact equities on a trade basis. This is what I'm calling trade basis. But they will have no impact on a trending basis. What will have impact on a trending basis is whether we're going to get a cyclical upswing in inflation or not. Pick up, not the cyclical, I shouldn't call it cyclical, just a reacceleration, a stabilization and reacceleration in inflation. There is a probability that this will happen. We already seen a very, very small signs of it. But so far, absolutely no reason to bet on that. But this is the most important dynamic, whether we're going to reacceleration in inflation or not. This quarter, it is unlikely that we're going to get this, but maybe second, third quarter of this year, maybe we will see that. But this is the reality of it, and we received yesterday before the Fed meeting ECI, employment cost index came out lower than expected. Very good for inflation for the inflation backdrop. Today we are getting unit labor cost and non-farm productivity should come in pretty good as well, and deflationary trend should continue, which is also good. So the backdrop still remains very positive for equities and on the inflationary front as well. So what trends am I talking about? Bitcoin, as you know, we've been calling for consolidation and retracement after the ETF essentially happened. Well, no, we've been calling for very binary setup. We either absolutely explode to the upside and retest the all-time highs, which is a very, very unlikely scenario. It was a very unlikely scenario, or we're getting a blow off top, and this is essentially what happened. you can hardly call this a blow off top, but it has a resemblance to it. We came into the tail resistance, and now we are calling for retracement over the trend basis, meaning next 15 to 30 days at least, we're gonna see underperformance from Bitcoin. Dollar is positive on a trending basis. I'm pretty sure we're gonna revisit 104, maybe 104.5, and then it's the question of what's gonna happen from there. And it's not gonna happen quickly. Or maybe it is. Oil changed positive on the trending basis, which is a very potent and very important signal. UUN still positive on a trending basis, yet negative on a trade basis. Gotta wait for this flip on a trade basis to be completely positive on uranium. Gold honestly could not break into the positive trend territory. We've been waiting and seeing whether we're going to close above this high. If we did, that it would have signaled a significant shift in gold, and in rate complex overall it did not happen. So okay, once again dollar higher, gold, and we're not calling for a significant spike lower in gold. Once again, more of this kind of price action, nothingness. There's nothing to do in gold. Copper flipped positive on the trend basis as well, even on a tail basis. Copper is long as well. Rates on the long end, positive on the trade basis, or negative on the trade basis and negative on the trend basis. So TLT essentially, TLT is a long. TLT is a long on the trade and trend basis as well. So yeah, that's nothing to add right here. Well, how did the short end closed? Yeah, no reaction from the short end and no reaction from SOFR, which is quite surprising. Even though Powell explicitly said we're not going to cut in rate in March, SOFR just don't want to believe him. High yield, positive trade, positive trend, everything is positive right here, so nothing to add here. Positive backdrop for equities overall, positive for equities overall right here. A lot of will depend on the today close and how Amazon, how Meta, how Apple especially is gonna report. So let's see. IWM is IWM, and overall, yeah, that's the setup so far. I'm not seeing immediate opportunities besides short puts on Axon. Oh, what did I do?